Hi there. Okay. Let's get started here. So today we're going to be taking a look at the foundations of APUSH here. Okay. So what are some of the biggest, most important parts of this class here? So for student wise, we know that many students have probably just started it here in the in the last week or so. And so I want to kind of go over that, and then we might have some newer teachers with us as well. So we want to take a look at, what are some foundations? What are some building blocks here for this class? We're going to talk a little bit about, the test. We're going to take a look at some of the ways that we can achieve some of these things here in this class here. So hopefully you can see everything here with me. And I'll kind of go over, who I am and all those things here. So as we're going through. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can still see that here. Okay. So, I'm getting used to the going back and forth between the two. First of all, Fiveable. Okay. Really enjoying being with this company here. And there's lots of ways to reach Fiveable. You can follow Fiveable on Twitter. You can follow Fiveable on Instagram. And you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel there. So lots of ways to get a hold of Fiveable. A little bit about myself here. This is, I've been teaching AP US History, and before that we had an honors US History. Been teaching that for about 17 years here now. And in terms of it, I teach in a Chicago suburb. Have students with really a variety of backgrounds and a variety of interest in history and everything else. I would say that this community is a diverse community. We have lots of people from lots of different backgrounds, and so some of them have a lot of U.S. history knowledge in the background and in their background, and then other ones are pretty new to the subject area here. So that's definitely the case there, that there are really a wide variety here. Personally, I try to do a strong focus on writing and content. And I think that expectations are one of the biggest parts there, to have those high expectations and to try your best to hold your students accountable to those expectations here. All right. Now, when I hopefully it's going smooth, because when I go and I change the when I change the slide here, hopefully I don't disappear. I don't think I do. Hopefully I do not here. All right, so in this stream, here's what we are going to be covering here. We are going to be covering, I'm going to do a little intro to APUSH there and what it is, the test and everything else. Changes for the year. We don't have anything major changing like a world history, but we do have some changes. Going to talk about some of the foundations for both the teachers and the students. Going to talk about pacing. Pacing is a big issue. And going to talk about some content and various things that are really important to the class there. All right, let's take a look here. Hopefully that as I'm doing this here, you're seeing this okay. Acronyms, APUSH and all the different acronyms here. What are some acronyms that you've gone through so far, whether teaching the class or being part of the class? What are some acronyms for APUSH that, so what are some of the things you do in class that you have an acronym for? And so this is where we're getting a little a little interactive here. I'd love to hear from some of you. Okay, CAPS or HIP, okay. Very good. HIP is, CAPS I'm less familiar with. HIP is definitely one used often. ACE, okay, very good. All right, hello everybody there. Okay, thank you. All right, so HIPPY is another one there. Okay, any of the other ones here? Hopefully this is looking okay here. Okay, and so I would say, some of the ones that I've heard used a lot in some of these are so HIP or HIPPY or HIPPO. It all depends whether you want to include the outside information. So the H is for historical context there. Okay, the I is for intended audience. The P is for point of view and purpose, or purpose and point of view. I forgot which one goes first, but same concept, both P's. And the O is for outside information. So there are so many acronyms in this class here. It gets a little crazy. We even had some other ones here that have kind of gone by, have kind of disappeared because they took synthesis out. So how do the slides look? Everything look okay to you there? Just give me a yes by anybody there. I don't disappear when I go, okay, good, thank you. All right, so let's go through some of these other acronyms here, because really a big foundation is working on all these skills and everything that are required to do well in this class and on the AP test here. So we have, as we just went through HIPPO, we have ACE, answer, cite, explain. Anybody know what those are used for? What is ACE often used for? Which part of the test? Okay, very good. All right, so the short answer questions. Excellent, thank you. Okay, the short answer questions, nice job. Okay, the short answer questions are really where ACE is used. I've heard people argue about if that is the best method. In terms of it, it is something that is often taught in English class, right? And so for me, I think it's one of those nice carryovers. I go with it. Some people say that it, that it's maybe too much, that it's not getting to the point quick enough for the SAQ. I think if it's well done, I think ACE works well there. HIP, again, historical context, intended audience, purpose, point. QFT is something that I've picked up after going to a conference a couple years ago. Question formulation technique. I like it to get started with a new unit or a new idea, and it's really so that students start asking questions, and it's really about putting them in groups. They ask questions, you give them a prompt, they ask questions, and it's just a nice little way to get started with things. Webb's DOK is depth of knowledge. We're going to be talking a lot of depth of knowledge issues here. SPICE is often used in AP World, the social structure, the politics, all of those there, the interaction with the environment, the culture, the economics. I believe that AP World has added a new one. They've moved technology separate, so now it's like Spice Tea. Sounds a little bit like the 90s rapper Ice-T, but Spice Tea. Magpies, bagpipes, those are all ones I've used, and then they've often changed the number of, they've changed the number of themes, and then some of those go away as well there because of that. All right, excellent. All right, so thank you. I need you guys to, need everyone out there to keep helping me with this here. Let's take a look here at just what this course is. It is a 2-semester, it is equivalent to a 2-semester college survey course. So you have to think of it that way. So, it's a lot of information here. There are 9 periods of time. Okay, 9 periods of time. There are 8 themes. Okay, America and the world, politics and power, geography and the environment, national identity, migration and settlement, exchange, work, technology, regional culture, and social structure. So there really are a lot of themes. The best idea is probably to make sure that you are weaving those in and creating your own themes. That really does help as well for the writing and for other parts. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not going too fast through things. Hopefully. All right. Let's take a look at our next one here. Okay, the test. Right. This is how students are judged. This is a lot of times on how an AP teacher is judged. You look at those. It completely makes or breaks my summer. It always comes out right around the July 4th weekend there, and I can't wait to get on there and log in and see, and it really does, kind of make or break. And in some ways, the summer, it really helps me decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to change, all of those things. So let's just take a look at the test. So the test is separated into 2 parts, okay, 2 parts. And we have a multiple choice. We have section 1, which is multiple choice and short answer, okay? And so there's 55 multiple choice questions. This is a change this year. I'm going to come back and talk about this later on. There are only 3 short answer questions this year. So in the past, there have been 4. So that's a little bit different. Then they have a break on test day. So I believe this test day is May 8th. And then there is the DBQ, which you have no choice. You have to do it. And then there is an LEQ, which you have a couple of choices on which one to do. Okay. We're going to go through more of these as we go along here. All right, let's give this a try here. I'm going to try this poll feature here. Okay, so this is a little question here. Fiveable is in the midst of we're putting together a lot of test banks and our own questions and everything. This little question taken from I took the picture from the Library of Congress and then made a question very similar to what you would probably see on an AP test here and an APUSH test. Let me see if you click on, does everybody see the poll there? Okay. Do you see the poll there? Okay, I want you to try to answer that poll question there. Okay. Okay, I'll kind of go through it here as people are answering it here. Okay, I think I can look at the analytics of it, I think. Take a look at the data here as you're doing it here. Nope, that's not it. All right, okay, all right. I can look at who's answering what here. Okay, so far 100% from all of you out there. Not bad, not bad. All right, so let's, anybody else want to answer it here? Okay, not everybody's answered. Okay, all right, so the answer is B. And let's take a quick look at what these kind of questions are here. This is a World War I propaganda poster, right? And so, wake up America, it says, civilization calls every man, woman, and child. Okay, so this is during World War I. So you're talking about between 1914 and 1918, right? And the ideas conveyed in this most directly reflect what? Okay, well, you have different choices here. And, oh, you guys, whoa, I looking at that. Wait, answer that again there. Let's take a look at that poll there. Okay, little bit early for that big worry there. So a lot of people got that one wrong there. I kind of glanced at that. I'm sorry. Okay, the correct answer, anybody want to try again? Okay, it's not B. It's not B. Okay, quite a few people answered that on the poll. It's not B. Okay, that is a distractor. That was thrown in there to confuse you. Right around the end of World War I, right? Communists do take over in the Soviet Union, okay, or well, Russia becomes the Soviet Union, right? In the Bolshevik Revolution, okay? But this propaganda poster is trying to do something else there. Look at that, civilization calls. Civilization calls. What do you think that is? Okay, so I'm going to give a big hint there. It's not B. Okay, and again, you know, this is early on. You haven't covered this. You know, I was just kind of showing you what a question looks like. And just so you can start thinking. Anybody want to try a different one? It's not B. Okay. Anybody out there want to try it? Come on. Just write your little answer there. Try here. Okay, give me another one here. What do you think? Okay, good. All right. So Skylar says AC. That is, it says C. That is correct. A movement to end isolationism and join the Allies. That is right. Okay, and that's kind of what that wake up little movement there for it. All right, so that's what a multiple choice question looks like. Anytime there's a picture, there's really a very similar looking question that will say, what are they referring to? Or what is this picture trying to reflect? Things like that. Okay, nice. Let's talk a little bit more about the test here. Okay, in terms of the test here, there are going to be short answer questions. There are 3 short answer questions now. So question 1 and 2 are required. Okay, then you get a choice of 3 and 4. So actually, the short answer question portion of this test is smaller. So you only have to do 3 instead of 4 of them. What's the good news in it? The good news is it's shorter, probably, you know, for the test taker, right? Okay, that is, you know, you've already answered all the multiple choice, and now so that definitely is a good thing. The other thing, though, is that there's only 3 to go from, so it is kind of, each one is worth a little bit more. So you have to kind of keep that in mind here. So if you really mess up one, looking at some of the data this year, you know, every once in a while you'll see something, some anomaly, and you're like, what exactly happened here? And so now if you completely mess up one of the short answer questions, it might have a little bit more of an effect than it did in the past. You know, if you had said, you know, maybe if you, you know, wrote really well on 3 out of the 4, it might not have had as much of an effect if you had one where you really lost. DBQ, 7 documents, right? I always try to tell my students to use all 7. Okay, why use all 7? Because what happens if you use one incorrectly? So I try to have them use all 7 for the DBQ. And then the LEQ, you choose one of 3 choices. Okay. All right. Hopefully everything is sounding okay and making sense and all those things. All right. So this is good for either students or teachers here. Okay. What are some complaints that you have heard before about APUSH, about the APUSH course? Just list some things here. Okay. Too much content. Okay. From Skylar. What else there? Okay, I'd like to hear from lots of people. What are some complaints? You know, either from former students or from teachers here. Too much work. Okay. All right. Details. Okay. All right. All right. My teacher is controversial, but that's just my school. Do you like the controversial, Skylar? Do you like that? Or, sometimes, I'm just going to tell you from the teacher perspective. Sometimes, we like to say things to kind of get a reaction, just kind of, sometimes, just trying to see how people react. Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of interesting there. That you don't personally like it, but some people do. So, I think that's the way it is a lot of times, right? With not every teacher is going to be liked by everybody. So that definitely happens. In terms of controversial, one thing that I personally try to do is, I try to look at things in multiple sides so that students are getting, several different sides. If you kind of are just looking at things through one perspective all the time, I think that that makes it kind of difficult, especially on this test. You are supposed to be a lot of times looking at things in multiple perspectives. Okay. All right. Like what you guys had here. Okay. Too much content. I think that is one, it's a lot. It's a lot to cover. It's a lot of details to remember, right? And the controversial one, this course has some controversy kind of built in at times. Some people think, that it's just right. Other people think that, that it may focus on some of the more negative parts of American history more than the positive. So it is a controversial course, depending upon who teaches it. That can also be a big, there could be some controversies with that. I do like to play devil's advocate a lot of times. So somebody will say something and I'll just disagree with them just for the heck of it. And just to see if they can do a better job of defending their position, because that's so key in this class. All right, so let's take a look at some other things here. Well, to address some of the things that you said right there, they have changed the course a little bit here. So there's a new course description. There is a more streamlined exam. There are some changes to the short answer, and there's changes with the free response. So some of these things are hopefully addressed here. All right, let's take a look at the course description. Have all of you taken a look at the 2019-2020 course description? Okay, if you haven't, we're supposed to get binders. So teachers out there, you're supposed to get a binder. And I never got mine. I signed up immediately, okay? But I printed out my own, okay, and put it in a binder, okay? So it is, as you can see here, it's thick. And there's a lot of good stuff in it, a lot of good stuff. I just printed out my own. I'm still hoping to get the College Board binder sometime soon, but there's a lot to it. So why did this course change here? Because they wanted flexibility. They wanted for in-depth instruction, okay? So too much content was one of the things brought in there. So what it is they're trying to kind of cut that down. So I'm going to take a look at a couple things that they did. So they've given each teacher really unit guides with pacing suggestions. So, most teachers want to get done and get finished with the content and with all the chapters and everything by, let's say, the beginning of April, okay? That gives a whole month to review. So most teachers, it seems, are breaking it up 1 through 5, at least of things I've seen. I can't speak for everybody, but periods 1 through 5 in the first semester. That gets you through Reconstruction. And then you have 6 through 9 in the second semester. Okay, in the second semester. How do I normally do it? I'll talk more about pacing, but yeah, I basically think of the second semester like period 6 is January, period 7 is February, period 8 is March, and then a little bit of time and 9 for April, and then I start to review. All right. Also, it depends on spring break and things like that, right? Other things here. The College Board wants to give both the student and the teachers an idea of where people are, more regular progress checks. Have your teachers got you registered for your AP, for the AP yet? Have they done that yet for the students on here? Okay. All right, good. Good. Basically, it's so important that you do it. And that's also the way you register for the test now, too. The registration for the test used to come out in like February or so. And then, you know, it depends. Some schools pay for the test, some don't. I'm not sure about on here. The people who are watching today, I'm not sure if most of yours pay for the test. But in terms of your parents, it's something to kind of keep in mind that there's now fall registration. I'm not sure about the payment part of it. I haven't gone through that part yet. The College Board is now offering formative assessments. The whole goal is flexibility. You see this little, have that picture of the yoga pose there, okay? That would actually kill me, I believe. I've never tried any yoga, but I'm pretty sure I can't do that there. But flexibility is what this new course is supposed to be about. The changes this year were all about flexibility there. Okay, so they want us to be like that picture there. All right, new theme, social structures kind of gets its own this year. I'm going to replace, I used bagpipes 2 years ago, and then they kind of got rid of beliefs. And so then went to magpies. And now I'm at AP gamers. I don't know. Anybody got anything better than that? Let me know if your teachers have something better than that. You know, it is what it is. So that's what I went with here, AP gamers. If you have something better, I'd love to know. Okay. Thanks for sharing. If you have something, go ahead, write it there. All right. So that is the first one there. Okay. Streamlined exam. Okay. Let's take a look here. Practices and skills assessed on the exam are streamlined. Elimination of skills such as periodization and synthesis have been removed as of recently. Synthesis was always hard, you know, because you're trying to compare things, and like at times with synthesis, it just didn't make a lot of sense. There were some stretches with it. I'll talk more about that later. The focus is all about depth. What they want is better essays, from what I've been reading about it. The College Board is looking for better essays, and they think that teachers will be able to teach it, APUSH teachers will be able to teach it with more depth if they've, you know, if we've already cut down the short answer, and, you know, if some of the skills that they were working on before have been kind of removed. So streamlined is a big part of it. Okay, short answer questions. Talked about that a little bit there. And again, you have to answer the first two, and then you have some choices there, either 3 or 4. It's amazing looking at test results. Like, what a difference. Like, I looked at my test results in, I think they came out July 10th, right? And with my students last year, the first DBQ, they did great on. They did great on. We spent a lot of time in the progressive movement, and so we really had a lot of stuff there. But the second one was on the civil rights, and we spent a lot of time on that too. And that was even a more recent subject that we covered. But I don't know if it was the wording or the difficulty of the documents, but that one didn't go well. So you never know in terms of it, it just sometimes it tends that one, just tends to be easier for students to write on. I think a lot of times it's the understanding the documents and all of that. So, all right. Changes with the free response here. All right. So 10 minutes have been added to section 2. That sounds pretty good, right? So for the second part of the exam, 10 more minutes. Okay. So they are definitely hoping that you're going to be able to get more in depth on the writing here. Okay. And the rubrics they haven't really changed anything there, but too much. But the long essay and the DBQ essay those rubrics are very similar. Very similar. I suggest you really become pretty familiar with those. All right. So some foundations of the course here. Okay. So what you need, okay, in the foundations for the course is you need student buy-in. Okay. You definitely need that. Okay. Whoops, sorry. Okay. You need student buy-in. You need a variety of lessons. Now, for the first time, the College Board is actually has some suggested lessons. So definitely going to be taking a look at those. Okay, students, you have to read. You have to read it. There's no way to get around it, really. You need to read it. There's, for this year here, I'm trying to do more in the way of making sure that they're reading it by doing some type of note-taking. So I'm giving choice, right? Student choice for teachers there. That's become a big, that's really become a big topic in professional development. I think it's a great idea because the student does need to be responsible. What are they comfortable with? So this is like a Cornell notes. Has everybody seen the 2-column notes sometimes? You put some questions on the side here, put some questions there, and then just take some notes from the chapter. I'm not going to make them be super detailed, but I just want to make sure that they're definitely looking at it. Some people like the traditional outline, right, which you have kind of seen in any English class, right? Other people are a little bit more creative, okay, like kind of graphic organizers, so things like mind maps. I'm allowing my students to do any of the 3. I just want to make sure they're reading. It's just so important that they read. The students that read really understand it. We can get more in depth. When a class doesn't read, we can only get to like a surface level. And what is the key word for this year for this, is that idea of depth. Okay, we want depth. That's what they're going for. All right. I have been teaching there for quite a bit there and talking a lot. We had some interactions here. Okay, but I figure, just to kind of break things every once in a while, I'm going to tell a couple of dumb little jokes there. And, what you would kind of say are dad jokes there. Okay, and so here's the first one. All right, you ready? Okay, why did George Washington have trouble sleeping? Anybody know this one? I just kind of took these from a couple different places that I saw them. Anybody on that one? I just thought I'd kind of try to lighten the mood. Anybody want to guess? Okay, how about the second one here? What kind of tea did the American colonists want? Anybody? Okay, we won't spend too long with my lame dad jokes. I am a dad, so kind of go with it. But all right, so okay, George Washington, right? Why couldn't he sleep? Because he couldn't lie. And then what kind of tea? Liberty. Okay, hopefully those weren't too bad. You still with me here? Okay, just maybe tell that to like your grandma or something like that. Somebody might appreciate it. Tell it to a corny neighbor or whatever. All right, let's take a look at historical skills here. Okay, development and process, sources and situations. Okay, are all sources the same? No. So we have to make sure we're looking at sources. We're looking for bias. We're looking for those concepts there. This is so strange for me still here. Kind of say I want to like get up and like write something somewhere or something. I hope my enthusiasm is coming through. I've never sat for a lesson of anything, so it's kind of weird here. So I will get used to it. I hope I'm sounding okay and I'm making sense here. Claims and evidence and sources. We want to make sure we're doing that. We want to have context. When you're writing the DBQ or the LEQ, I ask my students to almost fill up the whole first page with context. Okay, bring us to that time period. Okay, and then is that the only time you should use it? Okay, if you're doing a DBQ, you should also use it, right? What do we have? What are those, HIP or HIPPO? We should use it there. Make connections, but make sure those connections are good. You know, that it doesn't sound like you're completely off on the time period. Historical process, comparison, causation, continuity, and change, all of those things. Causation, something happens, what's the result? Comparing like colonies, comparing times, continuity and change. What things have changed and what things have stayed the same? You know, maybe there's something on the civil rights movement, right? Well, there's definitely been changes, right? Protection of voting rights and different things, right? The Civil Rights Amendment, things like Civil Rights Act and things like that. But there have been some continuity, you know, people feeling at times disenfranchised and things like that. So there's continuity and change. Some things have stayed the same, some things have changed in history. So you want to make sure that you understand that as you go along. Any questions for me so far? Any questions here? Okay, is this, I'm hoping this is helping you understand the test. I'm hoping this is helping you understand the class and the way that your teachers are going to go through it a little bit. Pacing, so important. So important, not only pacing for the teachers, but also for students there. You know, what is the, you know, as you're going through it here, one of the most important parts here, if you get behind it, it's like playing catch up. It's horrible. It makes the class very difficult. So I do like the suggestions on the pace there by the College Board. I am going to try to keep with that as best I can. There are some projects and different things that we're going to probably do. Need to balance the skills and content needed. This is a big debate amongst AP students. I really think that you need both. You need both. I have tried before to kind of focus on one or the other, and it's just, you can't really do it. All right, great question here. How much memorization? Good question there. Kind of depends. What I think of in terms of memorization, right, is you need the basics, right? You know, you need, if you've done anything with web DOK or you've ever heard of that depth of knowledge there, okay, the recall. That's what memorization is, the recall. You do need to show that you know a good amount of history, but just showing that on a surface level isn't going to help. You need to also have depth of it. But I think it's important to know a good amount of things as well. So in terms of memorization, I'll go over a couple of great resources that we have. Okay, but you know, look at that little picture there, pacing. You got to keep at a good pace. You have to make sure you don't get far behind. I use Quizlet. I don't know what some of your other teachers use there for things, but I like using Quizlet as a flashcard, you know, flashcards with terms and things like that. I do have a lot of terms on there that I want them to know, because really when it comes to memorization, I don't want them to come across a document that they have no idea what it is or how to use it. And that's why I think it is important to have a certain level of memorization. Like dates and things like that, not really a couple dates here and there, but you do need to know when things happen. Like you should know when the Civil War happens. You need to know when the American Revolution happens. Do you need to say on exactly what date things happen? No, not really. You know, that's kind of the old school history there. You know, that's where that was. But I don't think many history teachers will make you know a particular date often. Okay. Yes, great question here. Do you have any Quizlets made on your account that we can access? Yes. Let me see if before the end of this, if I can share that with you. So I will open up the Quizlet and I will share the link there, and you can kind of join my class there. And so I kind of have it protected because, you know, I don't remember where I got everything from. I took it from a variety of things. But yes, Adriana, I will definitely put that in there. Okay. So I will open that up, and we'll kind of leave a couple minutes at the end there for any questions, and then I'll put that on there because, you know, I think it's pretty good. I spent a lot of time on it. I put pictures. I did all that. So I think there's 715 terms. I know that's kind of overwhelming, but I have each thing separated by periods and all that. So where did I come up with it? I used a variety of things. I used you know, some of the College Board resources. I'm going to show you the study guide that Fiveable has, which I thought was great. So I used it before I even started doing anything with the company here. So I'll kind of go through some of those things with you in just a second, okay? All right, let's go through. So pacing, so important. Content preview. You know, like I said here, this is what this ultimate study guide. I'm actually working on updating that ultimate study guide now. And that is going to be an awesome resource for you. Also, Fiveable made last year like little one-page reviews, and they were excellent. So I'll definitely, you know, make sure you're checking Fiveable for those reviews. And then I think that this ultimate study guide was perfect. I can't imagine anything not being included. I'm going to make a couple of changes here and there, but that will be done relatively soon for this year. But I think the terms and everything are really good in there. So I'll kind of share my Quizlet with you in a little bit here. And then recap of the stream here. We're at the end here, and I will give a minute here while I kind of open up my Quizlet here too. Because again, I think it was pretty good here, and I will have that for you in just a second. Let me get that link. Look at the recap while because I'm kind of off that particular page there here. So class join. Again, I have it. I don't normally protect a lot of things, but I gotta have this one protected because let's say I took it from lots of different sources. So you ask to join and then I will accept it, okay? So I think it's really good. Look for the one with 715 or so, okay? And again, it's split up by periods and everything else. I think it's pretty good though. So let's take a look at the recap here. So it does have to be the class should be equivalent to 2 semesters of a freshman year history class. You hear so many different stories about how it's being taught. Some people go directly with the College Board. Other people say, I'm not having a test, dictate how I teach. Okay. If you have anybody have a teacher like that where they're like, I'm not having a test dictate how I teach. Does anybody have that? Any of the students there? Okay. All right. There are those in there. So Skylar answered me. Anybody else here? Okay. What does that mean? That means that you are going to kind of have to do more things like Fiveable and other reviews, because if they have that attitude, you want that high score, right? It's your college credits. It's your performance that, that you can show. And so, and really for your own learning, you're going to probably have to use a little bit more in those outside things than maybe somebody else. It's just the way it is. It kind of, there's a lot of individuality. I feel that if I want to do something that I feel is beneficial in AP US history, then I'm going to do it. But I'm also realize that students do want to get those credits there. I mean, you're depending upon where you want to go, you're talking about, thousands of dollars. I actually tell my students that, it's a 3-hour test, 3 hours and 15-minute test, right? And I say, depending upon where you want to go, it literally could be like making $1,000 an hour. Right? And for the teachers out there, right? A lot of you probably are still paying back loans, right? And I was just talking to a teacher this morning about that. And so still paying some undergrads, still paying some graduates. So, if it can make it a little bit quicker, you're going into something else or whatever, or you just want to go to some more advanced history classes when you get to college, it could definitely help. All right, let's take a look at a couple other things there. Again, most of the changes were made to be in-depth. They want stronger papers. So really concentrate on that writing. Some other foundational advice, this class it's a lot of work. You're going to have to do work. The teachers are going to be working very hard as well. I have about 90 students, 3 classes. So when I give an essay, and I give a lot of them, I'm going to be reading them. I read every single word. So, and then as we get closer to the test, I try to kind of review by going back and giving DBQs and LEQs. So, we work hard. I was actually grading. I wanted to give some feedback to some students. I was grading papers at 4 o'clock a.m. the night before the test. And I actually sent a couple of reminds there before the test to just let them know on those things before, what their final grade was and what I liked they did and what I thought they needed to improve still. So, find that right balance between skills and content. For the teacher, that's a tough one there. There are some teachers who preach just skills. Let the student get the content from the book or AMSCO or whatever. I think it's a combination. You're going to have to, I personally believe that you're going to need both to do well in this test. So that kind of goes back to that question on, on memorization. Did anybody try to click on this link here? Was I able to make it a link? I think so. So go ahead and if you want to join that, join it, Mr. D's class, and I'll click on it and accept all of you. And again, I don't protect too many things, but it took me forever to do that, and I'm not sure where I got all the sources and pictures and stuff. So that's that's kind of the where I got that. That's my own little Quizlet there. I'm sure I took it from a variety of things, but anyways, that's life. So I hope you like the recap. Are there any questions for me here? I love doing this with you here. I'm going to be doing more of these here. I hope you liked my teaching style here. And, I tried to give a little bit of a different background here. So this is actually my classroom here. And so you can kind of take a look at here. Well, things like the growth mindset. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I have a little Captain America guy here. He's new. Okay. He says, yes, he liked the review. Did you like the review there, Captain America? Yep. All right. So good. All right. Well, thank you. Oh, yeah, the growth mindset. Let's talk about that real quick before everybody is gone. The growth mindset, that kind of getting that whole concept that we might not be there now, but we're going to keep trying and we will get there. And so things like mistakes are how we learn best. You bet. So Carol Dweck's book. Okay, excellent. Okay, I'm going to have to check that one out. The growth mindset, there's been quite a few different people with things on the growth mindset. I've attended a couple of professional developments and everything on the growth mindset. So really, there's some great work in that. I think it's, I think it definitely is helpful. Hey, before everybody goes, so we did the recap. I really appreciate it. Do you guys want to put any comments in terms of things you'd like to see? I am the AP US History lead teacher, so I kind of make the schedule and everything for our great staff here. And so if there's some things that you think would be really nice to add, let me know. Okay, and I'll kind of give it a little bit of time here before I kind of hang it up. Anybody have things that that they're interested? Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for joining there. Okay, I was kind of nervous about it. I hope in the beginning there, it takes a little bit of time to get used to going back and forth between the Google Doc and the Fiveable here. So, all right, thank you. All right. And, if you want here and you think of any questions there, I did have my Twitter at the beginning here. So let me go back up to the top here really quick. So if you are interested in following me on Twitter, I'm definitely trying to make that a little bit of a bigger emphasis here. But it's at DFilippo APUSH there. And so you can definitely follow my Twitter there, and I'll keep trying to put things there. Okay, thank you. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words there. And everybody have a great night.